Now it's not really, okay, do people want it? How do we actually get it out there? Now it's more, how can we perfect it? How do we better distribute it? How can we streamline it? How do we make it more simple? Like, who do we need to add to the team? Like,
Right.
you know, because as these things happen and we get closer and closer to really our break-even point, that's when we can really go nuts. All right. So another week of office hours. I think last week may have been our best week yet. It was really good. The podcast I just did was talking about how, like, not every single day, I think I sent you guys something about this, like, not every single day feels amazing. But I think what sometimes people get wrong is they say, you know, it's okay to have those days. It's okay to, and yes, I believe that, but are you doing anything to overcome that feeling?
Right.
Like when you have that moment of, oh gosh, I'm just not super excited right now. Like, that's totally okay. But like, are you changing your state to get to a better place, or are you just kind of sitting in it and allowing it? Because I think a little bit of that is okay, but at a certain point, like, okay, it's time to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, get moving here. Right.
I kind of liken, this may be too woo-woo, I don't know. I liken emotions to energy and motion, something that Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. And sometimes, especially when I was living a super sedentary lifestyle and I wasn't really energetic at all, I had all these suppressed emotions all the time. And then they would come out in sort of, you know, just passive aggressiveness or any of that sort of thing. And once I started an exercise routine and moving my body around and getting that stuff out, it really helped my state in maintaining a much higher, you know, just happier, generally speaking, state most of my days. So that's something to keep in mind as well, as, are you moving your body? Are you getting the adequate exercise and everything?
Well, we were kind of talking about this the other day too. I think like the term of toxic positivity came up, and like talking about all that. But I also feel like too, like, whether it's just an off day at work or whether in your personal life, like you said, you know, kind of do something to kind of get you out of that slump. And I think same for your personal life too. And I think I have come across a lot of people who I'm starting to realize don't want to be out of that slump. Like they don't want to feel happier. They just want you to validate like how they're feeling in that moment and stay there.
100%. They like it.
They're energy vampires is what they are.
Yeah.
You know, they just suck the life out of everything. No, I definitely, and I've been there too. I was the grouch. You
were Josh's mad.
I was Josh's mad all the time. Debbie Downer, if you ever seen that SNL skit.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he brought that up because.
Totally. I saw this meme one time a while back. It was like these two guys talking, and one guy's stating a problem, and the other guy's like, here's a solution.
Right.
And then the first guy's like, I don't want a solution. I want to be angry.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
And that kind of sums it up.
Gosh, I
some
feel
people
like
just want to be angry.
A few friends of mine are kind of like in that state, and I like help them and I give them a solution.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like get upset that I'm giving them a solution.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in HiredUp world, we've had a lot going on. Just with the, you know, pushing the ads finally.
Yeah, pushing the ads finally. It's been really cool to see. I mean, we're a little bit shy of it, but, you know, in 2 days of ads and really pretty much only Android ads right now, we've done a little shy of about 20 grand in annual recurring revenue. So that's pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Considering that, you know, a year ago, this was an idea on a piece of paper. I mean, we had started, but it wasn't really, we didn't have a software then.
Right.
And so that's pretty exciting. I mean, that's really neat. And, you know, the sky's the limit now. I mean, now we just build. I mean, now it's not really, okay, do people want it? How do we actually get it out there? Now it's more, how can we perfect it? How do we better distribute it? How can we streamline it? How do we make it more simple? Like, who do we need to add to the team? Like, you know, because as these things happen and we get closer and closer to really our break-even point, that's when we can really go nuts. You know, I mean, it's when we really go nuts. And so we need a little over 1,000 users, paying users, to really break even on this business. But like not really. We need
Right.
like 500 users to break even on the business.
Wow.
And so it's not hugely off, you know, it's not very far off to get there.
Right.
But it's cool. It's very exciting. It's different. Like now, like every day when I come in, even this just happened yesterday, but yesterday and today, it's a very different feeling because now it's gone from creator to operator, right? And so it's gone from how do we actually create this and make it to, okay, now we have to operate. And that's very exciting because that's what really gets me excited, because that's when we can grow, we can expand. We just, every day we go out searching for more jet fuel instead of like, you know, I don't know, just
different fires to put out.
Different fires, and they're bigger and they're going to be scarier, but it's so exciting.
It's the next level up.
It's so exciting, 100%. And the team is so good, you know. I mean, you guys are amazing. Like the team here is just unbelievable.
Thanks.
I mean, do you realize what this would be if it wasn't for all of you? I mean, it would be nothing.
Well, and you've also built a culture, and this is credit to you, of just, like you said before, building a company of owners. Everyone takes ownership of their position. Everyone wants to be better than in the next day, in the next week, in the next month, you know. And for me, like getting, you know, time management and output to the nth degree. Like I really want to push myself to see like how far I can go. And, you know, and that's just a credit to, at the very top, just kind of setting that standard and living by it. So it's really exciting time to be here.
Well, I mean, I love to hear that. And I think a good example, like Brieonna, you're a good example, because when you first started here, by the way, I was doing a bunch of company paperwork today. And so I was looking back at like everybody's like start dates and sign-ons and everything. And so you started October 27th.
Yep.
Which is funny. It seems like
27's a good number.
27's a good number.
My lucky number.
Isn't that your birthday too?
March 27th. Yeah. 27th is great.
It's a sign.
So, but when you started, I remember like you were, by the way, you're wearing all pink again today.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even mean to do that.
Your nails,
putting this away.
your shirt, your water, your phone, your notebook.
Oh,
a lot of pink.
Funny. Yes.
You were ruined by the confines of corporate America.
I know. I think about that a lot too, and just like how much of a mental shift it was for me at the beginning. And I remember like Josh even saying like, you need to shift your mentality. Yeah. And I'm sitting here, I'm like my world was shattered, so to speak, you know, not necessarily that dramatic, but it was just like such a different way of distributing content that I had not been a part of.
Well, it was, I remember saying to you, like, just try it. Like, it's okay to just do it.
Right.
If it's bad, we'll just delete it.
Yeah.
But like, just do it, try it. Like, you don't even need to ask me. Just publish it.
And we've talked to you about like being risk tolerant, and I've never been in a situation where you could take risk like that. Yeah. And they're like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's okay. Like, let's just see what works.
But look, I mean, it's unbelievable now. Like looking at the things that you do 5 posts a day on the HiredUp site. Yeah. You know, or on the HiredUp Instagram. You know, you're running your own podcasts. You're doing these reels that are all you, that are getting hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I've also seen, you know, your experiments in the HiredUp world, you know, be perfected, and then you use them in your personal world.
Right, I know.
I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody here is like that. You know, I mean, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Like when I hired Jack, he literally Googled, what does a CFO do?
I know.
I mean,
it's so funny, but also so relatable too. Like,
right.
You know, just figuring your way out through it.
Yeah. Well, most social media managers inside of companies suck. Like they're just not, and it's not them. It's that they just don't know what to do.
Right.
And at the highest level, and you've seen this, we've all seen this, is the people who are actually giving the green light or the green lights to the, you know, content. Mm-hmm. They are completely unaware of how content actually works. They have no idea how it actually operates. Right. And so it's like, how can somebody totally stretch themselves and make excellent content and do things that are, you know, high end and big if the people at the top think that, you need to run newspaper ads or ads on the back of receipts. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That was my last company to a T.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. And you see how companies can get left in the dust if they don't adapt, And so like one thing that I'm very interested in as we talk about this is there's this framework of content out there, right? And even as a company, like there's this framework of content that we should fit into. But I don't think we really fit into that. Like we're kind of just doing our own thing. And I think that's really important. And I think that that's where a lot of companies get sort of paralyzed is they think, okay, well, we have to make it look all like that. We need a video person to put the text on. Like, no. You don't need any of that. Like if you want to output it at a very high level, then yes. But if you're just trying to show the transparency of your company, you don't need any of that. You don't need it.
Exactly.
Oh.
Like it's not the cool things, the cool graphics. That is not a requirement. That's not the price of admission to posting stuff.
Absolutely.
And so going back to HiredUp too, I mean, time and time again, we're just getting validated by, yes, we need this. Yes, this is perfect. This is the perfect time. We had Brieonna, you interviewed Amanda Smith from the Dallas Girl Gang on the recent episode of the HiredUp podcast, and she talked about how she, in her normal, using the normal job sites that were available to her, she would still require that her candidates submit a video because she understood the power of a video showcasing someone's mannerisms and how they carry themselves and how they can talk about their experience. And she said she did that before even scheduling a Zoom interview. So, and she was very excited about learning about us. And, we'll see what the future holds there. But that was just another validation as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's an absolute need in the market for it. So many people, too, have been saying that about video, especially with 2020 happening and COVID and everything like that. I think there's such a conversation around like workplace and how people are coming to work and how that's different. Along with that is also the hiring process and how that's looking a lot different than how it used to.
What's been your favorite podcast so far?
I think Amanda's.
Really?
Yeah. I was telling him, not to discredit any other podcast, but it was probably like I was 110% like so interested in what she had to say,
I heard
her
it.
advice.
It played out.
You did a great job.
Yeah. Well, and I've been a Dallas Girl Gang member on the Facebook page for a few years now, too. Okay. So it was like a fangirl moment.
Yeah. What was like the best part of that podcast? What was a cool moment?
I think just hearing the story, because I've always been a part of the community, but I never knew like how it even came about. Right. And I feel like, being an outsider looking in, overnight it just kind of blew up into this thing, and they did events, and now they're doing advertising and all this kind of stuff. So it was really interesting to hear on the back end all the work that went into it. And like she actually hired employees. Like I thought it was her doing everything. Yeah. And she has a content writer, and she has a website person, and someone for graphic design.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
The scale is really unique. It's not unique. It's cool. Right. It's cool that she was been able to do that. Mm-hmm.
What struck me the most about her listening to that podcast was the fact that, and I believe all successful entrepreneurs do this in some way, but she wasn't thinking about, I need to create this business and I need to make money. She was thinking, I don't see a community that's really powerful and empowering out there, and I just moved back and I'm looking to start, finding my tribe, basically. Right. And so out of a need of her own need, she created this Facebook group in order to interact with like-minded women, business owners and entrepreneurs. So, and that gradually, she started hearing the same questions over and over again, and the people wanting to start meeting up in person. So that's how the whole events side started. And it was just very organic, and it came from a place of not wanting to make money, but out of a need that she saw.
Which I thought was really interesting too. Like the goal in the beginning was not to monetize. It was just, I want to create a space for people to come to.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. But it was a good episode.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that you really want to have on? Like, is there but this like dream, like, is there somebody that you would just kill to have on the podcast and interview? Both of you?
I think like the highest person, probably Sarah Blakely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about her husband a lot. What's his name?
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
Jesse Itzler.
But I like first found out about Sarah Blake, obviously Spanx, like I wear the leggings and stuff like that. But then hearing her podcast on, what was it? NPR, How I Built This.
Yeah.
Like totally changed my perspective on her, like completely fell in love with her.
Yeah.
So I've been like a huge fan ever since.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
She's great. Maybe we could get both of them on.
Yeah. And they're here in Dallas.
That'd be awesome.
They're not here in Dallas.
They're not?
They live in Atlanta.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought, did she used to live in Dallas.
Did she?
Yeah, because she was saying, at least in her podcast, how she was going to Nordstrom's and she was going door to door here in Dallas and like different locations.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in Atlanta now.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd just love to interview my favorite podcasters too.
Yeah.
Hear
That's
how
a great idea.
That is a good
how they
idea.
grew their podcast,
Yeah.
you know, kind of
Right.
like a meta podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
No one ever does that.
yeah, right, a podcast about podcasts. you
Yeah.
know?
Who's your favorite podcaster?
It's between Aubrey Marcus, Luke Story, who are both in Austin actually, so not that far away.
Yeah.
But Kyle Kingsbury also in Austin.
They're
there's a
all
lot
in
of-
Austin.
they're all
Rogan's in
now.
Austin. Ferris
Rogan's
is in Austin.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That's the hub now,
Yeah.
apparently. But I'm happy in Dallas. I'm happy in Dallas over here.
Those are good
Same.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Like no one ever really interviews the interviewer,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Like no one ever really does that. It's like sometimes when people ask me, like people are like, "Oh, how's the app going?" or "How's this? How's that?" Like that's just very normal. But when somebody's actually like, "Tell me about like some pointed question," it totally catches me off guard.
Right.
I'm like, "Oh,
Not used to these.
I'm
type
always the
of-
ones
right.
that's asking
these.
that."
Right.
You know, so I think you would actually have some success doing that because I think there's a lot of podcasters out there that never get the spotlight,
Right.
and they would probably like that.
You never know if you
Yeah.
just reach out, who's going to respond. I mean, I've DM'd Luke's Story before, just gone back and forth a little bit, but
Oh, so he's
nothing beyond
responded?
that. Oh yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. He sees everything pretty
That's
much.
awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
so
That's cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
You should ask him to have him on,
Yeah,
or ask
Yeah.
to have him on.
I'm a big fan of his ads.
Oh, really?
His ad placements. I think they're really high quality.
Hmm.
And
How
sometimes
so?
he was like, how so?
Yeah.
Well, they're just, he has this guitar music in the background and he really just gives a story instead of just an ad placement. Getstamps.com or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this doesn't fit with your brand at all. He
Right.
only has brands that he actually
Like.
uses, and he tells a story about him interacting with that brand or that product, and he has good music in the background, and he always basically lets you know that an ad's about to come, instead of just interrupting
That's nice,
you.
right.
And they're just high quality audio as well.
Nice.
And he'll talk about sometimes how some people get annoyed with the ads, and it's like they have to make money.
Yeah.
And not only are they doing it, but he's doing it in a very pleasant way as
Right.
opposed to a way that interrupts the mood. So
Cool.
Well, because if it's so many times you listen to a podcast and they're going, okay, they're talking about, here's how I built my business and here's the, success of building the finance department or the software or this or that, and here's how I sold. Sherwin-Williams paint, it just makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Normally I just skip right over those.
Yeah.
I do too.
Exactly.
I've yet to pay for YouTube Premium.
yeah, I don't have that. I mean,
I haven't.
It's nice for the sole purpose of being able to if you have it on your phone and shut your
Yeah.
phone off
Right.
and then just have it playing. But otherwise,
But they take the ads out.
They
don't
take the ads out,
Okay,
yeah.
it might be
Yeah,
worth it for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because I thought it's not super expensive.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But for some reason, I'm like,
just another thing.
Like, I don't need, it's another subscription.
Another subscription.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with.
Too many subscriptions. There should be a super subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think eventually TV's going there. I mean, every TV channel now has their own streaming service.
Yeah.
And that's what people have been wanting, is like kind of an a la carte, let me just choose these channels sort of thing.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Like an overarching box that you just select whatever things you want.
Yeah, we don't even have cable. We just
no, I don't either.
More and more people have been cutting the cord, so it's
useless.
Just a time waster.
Yeah.
Giant time waster.
Yeah.
Who would be your favorite guest to have on the podcast?
That's a good question.
You did say that you're not used to questions.
I know I'm not used to questions. Probably a Jesse Itzler or somebody like that. Yeah. I mean, the thing about me is like I'm not super starstruck by people.
Yeah.
Like I don't get like blown away by when I see famous people.
Yeah.
But like, and then the other thing too is that people like that, I like asking them stuff that no one else is asking them.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you listen to, like I know Jesse's spiel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've listened to every podcast, he's been on, or a Rogan, or like I know their spiel. Like I know when they get on a show, I know exactly where they're going.
Right.
I know what the interviewer is going to ask. I know they're going to talk about this, and these parts of their lives. It's like, okay, great. I heard it all. I've heard it 15 times on everyone else's podcasts. So probably him. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other people I'd love to talk with, but, I'd like to ask
Dave
him
Portnoy.
Oh my gosh.
That would be fun.
That would be a character.
A lot of fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anything else?
I'm out of content.
Yeah, I know.
I'm out.
It's been a slower week, but, we're just excited about where the company is right now. We're at a great spot. We're only headed up. Like you said, sky's the limit, and we're excited to just keep growing with the company personally and professionally. And we look forward to sharing just high quality content with you guys and help build this community out.
Yeah. I have an idea real quick. I've thought about this for a couple of days. So I've been getting people that ask me about like, how do you wake up early? And we talked about how it has to do with going to bed at the right time.
I'm so bad at going to bed at the right time.
There you go.
See, that's the problem.
So bad.
So it's like we are religious about the time that we wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time every day. But at night, it's like we'll go to bed within hours of each night. Like, why isn't that a regimented thing? So I've thought about like starting this thing called like Club 515, where it doesn't have to be 5:15, but like whatever time it is.
Right.
Then like for a month, this would be nuts. And like, I don't know who would even do this because it would be stupid, but like whoever, like just put this group together where everyone like has to do a picture of, like their first thing in the morning, like the coffee machine or whatever at whatever time, like with a timestamp.
Yeah.
Whether you wake up at 5:15 or 4:15 or 7:15, it doesn't really matter. But just like having that, kind of thing.
Accountability,
could be
really.
interesting.
I feel like to like.
Yeah, kind of like
keep on track.
What's his name? The real estate guy.
Michael.
Mm-hmm. He had that thing about the gym and having a Venmo account and having to get to the gym and take a picture. Similar situation.
100%. Well, I noticed, because I noticed this with myself that, I mean, so if I stay up till, usually I try to go to bed at like, 10:45, 11. But if I stay up till midnight and the next day I'm more prone to waking up at like 6:30, 6:45. If I am meeting my friend at the gym, which usually like once a week he'll meet me over there. I'll still get up at 5:15 regardless of what time I went to bed, and I'll still be there at 6 a.m. in the parking lot. So I'm like, well, okay. I mean, if I have to, I can do it 100% of the time.
Right.
So why don't I just do that 100% of the time?
Yeah, exactly.
I've even tried setting an alarm on my phone for going to bed.
That's a good point.
Me keep on track.
Your phone does that.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah.
If you set up your wake up time, it'll tell you like an hour or so before it's time to start winding down.
That's what I did.
So, okay.
I just
Does it work?
I wasn't very disciplined about it.
I don't think it works.
Yeah.
Well,
still not fair.
I think that might be the Indian. Not the
Darkness, cold, blackout curtains.
Yeah.
No blue light. No full belly.
hero. I'm bad about that.
Don't eat right before you go to bed. It'll be
Yeah.
hard. And make a list of stuff that you want to do the next day also. Program your mind.
Yeah. I like that.
Can you imagine Josh's nighttime routine?
Yeah, what is
sarcophagus?
Do you have a nighttime? Oh my god.
I mummify myself.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh. That's kind of
No,
funny.
I have my off nights. Like last night, I was up a little later, about 11. I'm usually in bed 10:30 if I can.
Yeah.
But later, I was up 11:30, but I still got up at 5:15 or so.
Yeah.
So, but I used to have a really hard time sleeping, so I started learning about this stuff, and there's a lot of books about it as well that I've gone through, and it really does help having a colder room.
Yeah.
The cold room makes it. What kind of cold are we talking here?
Like 65, 68, nothing.
That's pretty chilly.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly.
Yeah, but you have
68's
covers.
pretty good.
You have covers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But if the room's cold, it helps.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like sleeping whenever it's colder, and we have blackout curtains too. But if I close the blackout curtains all the way, I will not be able to get up in the morning. Like I need like natural sunlight to help wake me up too.
Well, right now it's interesting because it gets darker much later,
Yes, I
That's
love
right.
it.
but I find that it's not bright until like 7:45 in the
Right.
morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like for 3 hours I'm up just hanging out like in the dark.
Alrighty. Yeah.
You get one of those lamps, right next to your bed that like
that?
mimics the sun.
I've
Have you seen
never
those?
seen
There's like
no.
orange. It like turns red and then it turns orange, kind of like the sunrise.
That's crazy. No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
That might be your next Amazon
up.
purchase.
Yeah, probably.
Look it up. Biohacking.
But yeah, I try to be in bed by like 11:30 as my
Try.
Do you go to bed at like
11:30?
1 every night?
Well, last night it was 1 just because like I can't turn myself off. Like I can fall asleep like that. Like if I
Yeah.
just sit for 2 seconds, I can fall asleep.
Right.
But it's just like removing myself from my phone or like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
cleaning or I don't know, whatever else
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Phone and TV, like 2 hours, I would
Yeah.
say, before bed. You need to start.
Yeah. I try to make 12
helps.
my hard limit.
That's the
That's the
cutoff.
hard one. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What happens if that like things just go nuts? Oh my god. We gotta get to bed.
I know, pretty much. Like, a mad dash run for the bed. But
Yeah, sometimes like I used to get very anxious if I went to bed too late because I was like freaked out about the next morning. So I think you
Yeah.
can definitely take it too far.
Yeah.
You can take it too far. But Dr. Amen talks about how the time that you wake up, like waking up consistently every morning, regardless of what time you go to bed, is the most important.
Yeah.
And I 100% find that. Like this week, it's been so weird. It's like 5:15, 6:45, 6:15. Like it's so bizarre. And I noticed that just throughout my day, I'm like, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
my schedule's a little off.
I think it's daylight savings.
That affected me big time.
It did affect me. I've been to
I
the gym once
completely
this
agree.
week.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't catch that hour. I'm like, what? I feel like
Right.
I'm behind an hour still.
Yeah.
I think we need to do away with daylight. I mean, because I lived in Arizona for 5 years. They don't do daylight savings.
Arizona does it?
They don't observe it. Time number changes. They
Yeah.
were the last state in the union. They became a state in 1912. They do not observe daylight savings.
That's right.
What?
And
I
I-
thought every state in the United
No.
States.
They don't
does
observe
this.
it.
It's so messed up. And then I was
Arizona
talking
says
with this
no.
woman from England,
Yeah.
and we were scheduling a call, and they
Well, I got to
observe.
know about what, I mean,
Well, and we're trying to figure out the right time, right? And they observe daylight savings, but it's a week after us. It's a week after. They're usually
Okay.
6 hours ahead, but for 1 week they're
Yeah.
only 5. It just doesn't make any sense.
it's so weird. And so, like, now, because it went forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
So,
lost
so
it.
now
Spring
I'm
forward.
like, oh, it's darker later. Well, like, okay, but yeah, we adjusted the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it does in fact stay darker later,
Right.
but we're kind of like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, well, yeah, but you know,
The worst part for me is in winter, whenever it's 5 o'clock and it's dark, And like I still need to run errands after work, but it's like it's dark. I feel like I need to get home.
I remember that here. Like it's cold, it's dark. You know, it's 4:45. The sun's going down, and by 5:15, it's pitch black outside.
Yep,
that's kind of depressing.
I know, very.
I love the summertime.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we need to do away with daylight savings. I think it needs to go.
Yeah.
I think the farmers will be fine.
I think they'll be okay now.
Is that how it was created, or something like Farmer's Almanac?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It goes back to founding fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. Should probably research that.
But we have electricity and lights now. So, you know.
And clocks.
We are capable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anything else?
That's it. Stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps us if you leave a comment. If you've ever been, like the content that we're pushing out, that helps us reach more people. And check us out on all the socials for clips from the podcast as well.
Okay. And if there's anything that you see or that you haven't seen us do or that you would like to see or that you don't like, let us know. We like the feedback. Just send us a message on Instagram. We would love to, hear what you have to say.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.